Namaste and welcome to this Aries full moon talk and meditation with me, Ellie Latrobe. So obviously this is being uploaded onto YouTube during the time of Easter. So regardless of your belief system or how you understand the world, this is the point at which in the Northern Hemisphere, we have this rebirth time, the time where the light massively accelerates as we pass the spring equinox. So we're moving into this point of like exponential, explosive growth, outpouring of light and new beginnings, whether that is in the seeds that we are sowing as gardeners, the amount that is growing in the hedgerows, the baby animals that are being born all around. We see these images of the resurrection, of rebirth all around us, regardless of our religious belief system. And the thing with this Christian festival of Easter is actually we can all take ownership of it. We can all celebrate this time as the Aries full moon. And that's exactly how Aries is, Easter is defined. It's the closest Sunday to the full moon in Aries. And it has with it a deeply spiritual a deep spiritual significance for the potency of energy that is pouring into humanity at this time. You know, in this cycle of the zodiac, we have these three first signs: Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. And these are like, I talk about them year after year. They're the priming signs for everything that then happens afterwards. In Aries, it's like that will is received and it's poured out into the world. It's like this will to do, this will to express. It's deeply actually intuitive because the mind, the thinking mind, doesn't get involved. It skips all the thoughts about whether that was from my ego, whether that was from my soul, is that right for me, is that wrong for me? It just comes and it outpours. It's like the Big Bang. It's like this rapid growth outwards, that is nothing can get in its way. No thinking is going to stop it from coming into being. And so the full moon's a potent time to receive that illumination, to understand that intuition, that new impulse for this year. And Aries is a fire sign, a cardinal fire sign. So of all the signs of the zodiac, it's got this real starting, lighting match, ignition, beginning, pioneering, got this, it's ruled by Mars, so it's got this passion, it's got this drive, it's going to push forwards, it's going to begin the new things, it's excited about the new things, all the unknown places that we can go and explore, not the same as what we've done in the last cycle. Aries follows Pisces, which is the ending, which is the surrender, which is the release. And Mars ruling Aries has this sword, it has this axe even, that's just going to cut away all that's not needed. So there's this final kind of destructive process that Aries has to go through in order to fully expand into the new. And if you think about explorers going into pioneering environments, they have to use some form of force to do that, whether it's clearing out the undergrowth, whether it is strongly opposing other people's view of not going on that dangerous mission. Think of people exploring space or, you know, unknown territories before they may know what's on the other side of the ocean or on the other side of a body of space. And that Mars energy is taking someone almost through just sheer drive and even devotion, or, you know, just a need to have something new, to have the unknown, pushing us into that place. And that Mars energy gives us that. So Easter and Aries are hand in hand, an important, significant time of our year to be inspired, to be receiving the seeds of what we're going to sow for the next year, and not just receiving the seeds and going, oh, this is a lovely seed. It's like, let's begin, let's start. So already, you know, we're kind of well into Aries season now. What's been beginning for you? You know, think about 2 weeks ago when we had this new moon in Aries. What was initiating? You know, in the new moons, we have this opportunity to really receive the finest glimmers of truth. Whereas in our full moons, we have this emotional potency to feel what is needed from us at this time, to intuitively receive that light, that love, that will, and to feel what that means for us. Sometimes in full moons, that can be through strife, it can be through challenges. Our emotional waters can be rocked. Things can feel bad or things can feel great, but we're being emotionally charged. So the question on these full moons is, what's going on with my emotions? What are they trying to tell me? What is the emotional guidance system of my soul trying to communicate with me at this point? And we cannot ignore the fact that the sole ruler of Aries here is Mercury. And Mercury is this inner planet in our solar system physically that is moving quickly. And in Greek mythology, you know, it's represented by this messenger between the gods and humanity, you know, or in esoteric language, the messenger between our soul and our personality, that communicating link between that intuitive faculty of our thinking and our rational capacity to create those ideas and words that ultimately start our actions, that bring things in through that intuitive impulse that goes through clearly the mind. So Mars and Mercury, Mars on the personality level, Mercury on a soul level. These are really important to consider and to ponder on, you know, all the qualities that Mars brings us, the severing energy, the drive, the power, the passion, the hotness, the impulse, the, you know, sex, the adrenaline, the fight, the flight, and then all of the references to Mercury into the mind. But this mind is the connected mind. It's not the air mind of Gemini, is personality ruled by Mercury, which brings this fast, rapid, quick thoughts. Aries is also fast, it's also rapid, it's also moving quickly because of this Mercury. But it's this impulse to do. It's like, now my next project, my next one, my next one, my next one. So we're really trying to invoke that energy of intuitive impulse, receiving the seeds that we're going to take action upon at this time. Those are the eggs, you know, those are the real chocolate eggs that we want to be eating right now, not just to feed the capitalist consumer machine of Easter eggs, as nice as chocolate is. So we're going to have a quick look at our full moon chart, just to see what that offers us in terms of guidance through this next cycle. Obviously, like the new moon is kind of like the beginning of a cycle, and the full moon is like the peak, the culmination, where it's reached, and then it kind of wanes and it moves out. So we have on our full moon, we have our Libra on the opposite polarity. So our emotions may want to be social. We might want to be connecting with other people, connecting in one-to-one relationships. We may want to be thinking about all sides of the story, relating to other people's perspectives, trying to balance that up with our own needs, with our own wants, with our own impulses, our own selfish desires of our soul in this body wanting to take action to something. But how does that affect the other? How does that affect your significant others? Is that jarring? Is it flowing? Is it easeful? Is there communication and connection? Libra really wants unity, wants us to all get along, to find a point of balance, whereas Aries just wants to do it its way. It wants to take it and lead with it. And for me, we can't just dismiss our own individual needs. We can't label them selfish and bad. They, in their truest sense, they're going to guide where we place our action, where we place our will, and the ultimate ripples that we send through the world. So we have to kind of listen to them. And if they're attuned to that place that feels good, that brings us joy, that resonates on a slightly higher level than just all those familiar patterns, then actually being selfish is a good thing. So there's always going to be other people in our life. Within what we have to say and how we have to use our will is going to affect in some way. So what compromises need to be made? What level of communication needs to happen? Aries can be quite blunt sometimes, that Mars just like, F off, leave me alone, I'm done. Whereas Libra wants to balance things up. Let's talk about it. Let's open a diplomatic path of communication here. Let's start to work out a way to justly find a solution here, whether we're talking about two sides or in a one-to-one relationship between two people. We also have then in the inner planets, we have Mercury, which is just about to make a conjunction with Uranus here in Taurus. And so this is, this is going to start a kind of a new cycle of Mercury and Uranus, as Mercury, as I said, moves pretty quickly around. So is connecting with Uranus quite relatively frequently. But on these conjunctions and the point at which Mercury, connects exactly with Uranus, there's this real impetus to wake up, to shake up, particularly our mental faculties, our means of communicating, our means of listening. Communicating is listening and putting the words out, whether it's through speaking or through writing. Or listening, or reading and consuming of the information to understand. So this is like in this fixed earth sign of Taurus, we're also being asked to just be aware of unexpected, maybe shakeups in what's being revealed to you in your faculty of listening and communication. So when we think about that, when we put that together with our full moon, with this full moon relating to balancing up ourselves and another, here we have to really look at our fixed patterns of communication with other people, whether we are at war with someone else. Like, how am I communicating? Maybe there will be things that shake up that communication, maybe change things, maybe unpredictable things will be communicated or be received. If our Mercury is doing our intuitive thing here, then hopefully that will be the bolt of lightning of our soul or of our spirit speaking to us in some way, and that we can just take note of what those maybe synchronistic expressions of signs, communications of the soul, what they're trying to show us. And then we have Venus and Mars that have now, moved much further apart than where they were on Valentine's Day, where we found them conjunct, which has its pluses and minuses. Mars has finally just moved into Pisces. So we had probably a tough week we had a tough week last week and the build up the week before, or maybe it felt like the peak of something and then a shift in energy. So what was been happening the previous week was that we had Mars and Saturn conjunct, which was feeling like we had our foot on both our accelerator and our brake at the same time. So we were trying to go, we were trying to make things happen. And it just wasn't working. And now Mars has moved away from Saturn and it's moved into Pisces. We have Saturn that's able to keep its structure and systems in maybe how we structure our future, or how we are looking to create our future. Maybe it's within the sphere of technology and how we work online, how we work on groups. This is able to function free from the influence of Mars now as it goes into Pisces. And the positive way to read Mars in Pisces is this drive to connect with our spiritual nature, to connect with the whole of life itself, as opposed to just one egoed identity part. Pisces is the sign where the ego undoes itself. So what are those parts of ego self-sabotage or sacrifice that need to happen? How can we put our will, put our passion into finding the best identity for ourselves? What is the thing in Aries season that we are trying to create of ourselves? What is the identity that we want to own? What are the old ones that we are dissolving because they no longer match actually who we are right now? And that's a hard one, because when we relate this to our full moon dilemma of Aries and Libra, us are one and the other, and the other often wants to keep us as we always were in their mind. And there's this updating relationship between us growing and us moving into a new place in our life, and the other person updating themselves and getting used to who this new person is, this new idea of your persona or your identity or what you want to put out into the world. And obviously we had this big Jupiter-Neptune conjunction as well last week. So this big vision, big dreams, whichever part of your chart you find that in, this area of expansion in some way, but in a more ethereal, dreamy way, maybe a dissolution even of something old. So to pave way for Jupiter moving into Aries in the not so distant future, in the next 2 weeks. And we have this big new beginnings that's just on the horizon now. We are like at the end of Aries season, moving into Taurus, but Jupiter moving into Aries is going to be big boost for moving into unknown terrains and finding our way into a new universe, a new persona, a new identity, all these things. And Venus here in Pisces, she's been doing pretty well. You know, it's exalted in Pisces. The love of the aesthetic and beauty and artistic expressions as well, and music, and how does it feel to spend money on things that spiritually connect you, or just for the hell of it because you feel the beauty of certain things. And able to connect to the principle within other people of that we are one, that we are connected, that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. So that's our full moon chart for this month. We're going to do a short meditation now, just to experience that Aryan full moon energy, regardless of whether you're doing this on the full moon or not. I'm just going to put up my image of Aries here, which was designed for me by Ben Hassan. You can find his link in the bio. He's awesome. I recommend if you've got any graphic design work. But here we see this idea of a point of oneness emerging into duality, exploding into duality. It's also denoted by the image of the ram, the sign of driving into new terrain, literally like ramming in. And the ram also once was a baby, and that new, youthful, sometimes a little bit naive, like stepping into potentially dangerous situations. And our Aries keynote for our soul is, I come forth and from the plane of mind I rule. I come forth and from the plane of mind I rule. So just finding yourself a comfortable seated position. Bring your soles at the feet on the ground if you're sat in a chair, and draw your shoulders up and back. See how you're feeling. Take a big inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Grounding through those soles of your feet. Feeling your spine growing taller. Feeling your eyes moving inwards and upwards to your third eye, opening that crown up. Your intention in this practice is to receive your seed for the new year, new astrological year. And as you open up, feel the light, this explosion of light. Capture that light and draw it down, down, down. Feel yourself opening up to invoke and to take on those planetary qualities of Mars and Mercury in combination. Mars giving you the power and drive to launch yourself into a new place, that rebirth. Bring that power down into your belly. Bring that Mars, that drive down through your head. Allow that energy to give the ability to take forward new ideas, giving energy to your brain, to your head, and down into your belly. And then invoking Mercury and opening up that mind. See if you can open your mind up to connecting your spiritual to your human being, drawing that energy in, feeling the power within your belly, feeling your spine tall, your mind open. What is the thing that's new and emerging for you right now? Draw that into your mind. Maybe which area of your life is new, needed, is for you to be a pioneer, to walk into new landscapes. And with intention, draw in what you need to know right now about that pioneering journey that you're entering into. Draw it in, draw it down into your concrete mind. Even if you don't know what that is right now, you can feel that impression coming down and in. And then through your whole being, feel, I come forth, and from the plane of mind, I rule. From your mind, you are ruling. You are creating the thoughts that create the words, that create the actions, that bring into manifestation those ideas. Bringing one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Bringing yourself courage and trust. Seeing yourself walking out on this new journey, embarking on a pioneering adventure. Maybe all you have with me is, or with yourself, is an axe to pave that way, to put your needs a little higher than maybe you have been, to balancing up your needs with someone else if you haven't. And knowing yourself to be the ruler of your mind. Feeling light flowing into your mind. Feeling love flowing into your heart. And feeling goodwill empowering your belly, your soul. Sounding Om 3 times and feeling that light and that love and that will empowering you to take that step. Taking an inhale and exhale. And inhale for 3 Oms. Om. And just feeling what you have to feel right now, knowing what you have to know, and being all that you are. Namaste. So there's lots of new things on the horizon for me. I've been running a 12-week zodiacal creative magic course, which is how we create and we walk through this cycle of manifestation through the zodiac and the journey of our soul, its growth, its evolution. And I'm excited to be offering it again in September. And from now until September, my podcasts will be pausing. I started the podcasts as a means of letting my YouTube videos reach a larger audience. But I need to take the concept, and I actually want to work with people. So if you're watching this and you are an astrologer, or you are interested in working with astrology in your own life, and you'd be interested in working on a podcast with me, I'm looking for a range of different people to run a series of astrological podcasts which relate to different sectors of of life. So whether you're into yoga, whether you're into accounting, whether you're into whatever you might be into, and the intersection between the two, and how we can bridge that gap between making the concepts of astrology a little bit more tangible. So I'm briefly withdrawing the podcast in order to make something better and to start creating relationships myself with other astrologers and other people who use astrology in whatever work they're in. So do get in touch about that if you're interested. Do keep your eyes on my social media for the next course. I do always have a meditation course up on my website, ellielatrobe.com, and you can also check me out on Instagram as well. So until next time, namaste.